100th anniversary of the National Football League, and very few venues bring it like they bring it here in Minnesota. Caps it off and makes it official. It's time to play football.
I started laughing, not because I think it's funny. I think I'm so emotional about this game. 100 years of the NFL. What a place to start. What a place to be.
No
for the kickoff.
question about it. Two outstanding head coaches, Dan Quinn and Mike Zimmer. And we're underway. Minnesota wins the toss, defers to getting the football in the second half. And let's check in downstairs with Shannon Spake.
Hey there, Tom. What a scene it is down here right now. Week 1 in the NFL. And, you know, 24 hours ago, Falcons fans didn't even know if Julio Jones was going to be playing in this game. Of course, he was working on that contract extension. We do know that they got it done. I spoke with Jones during pregame warmups. He told me the biggest emotion is relief, but not relief for him, relief for his team, that they don't have to think about it anymore. One thing they'll have to think about is Xavier Rhodes. He has held Jones scoreless, no touchdowns in the 3 times they've met.
We'll be watching that matchup throughout the day, and they come out throwing it immediately. Coming off the edge, a 4-time Pro Bowler, Anthony Barr. 1 play and 1 sack.
So the Falcons were worried about their right tackle. You don't worry about Jake Matthews, but he misses the blitz on a free running Anthony Barr. Now he blocks down because what caused the confusion was the late shift between Griffin and Barr. He comes free to the quarterback. Anthony Barr is an effective pass rusher. They don't use him a lot as a pass rusher, but when he does bring it.
Well, this is a bruising Minnesota defense, has been, well, seemingly since the league started. Going back to Page and Eller and company, and now this group under Mike Zimmer, and this is Devontae Freeman. And he's up to the 22-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd down and 13. Matt Ryan, hard to believe. This guy is now 34 years young. Grew up outside of Philadelphia, 3rd pick in the 08 draft. Has led Atlanta to the playoffs 6 times in his 11 seasons as starter. Coming off an incredible year. Actually spotted it at 21, so 3rd down and 14. They need to get to the 35.
Watch this matchup. There's a rookie, McGarry, against Daniil Hunter.
And now Ryan forced to take off running, sniffing at 35, but he'll be about 2 yards short as Barr ran him down, so it'll be 3 and out. The first offensive possession of this season for the Atlanta Falcons. Of course, 3 and out, Chris, for the Minnesota defense is nothing new.
Well, that's what Mike Zimmer prides himself on, and the biggest challenge for Dirk Cutter, the new offensive coordinator, former head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Matt Ryan, can they handle different looks and the different blitz packages? Right there, the Vikings won round 1.
Minnesota held opponents to 44 3 and outs a year ago. 5th best in the league, and there's a block punt. And Minnesota covers it up. It looked like Eric Wilson, the linebacker out of Cincinnati, came charging in to get it. And for Bosher, that's a 9th time in his career he's had a punt block, most among all active punters in the league.
There's Wilson coming free. Now you have to block. Everybody has to protect from the inside out, not the outside in. It's geometry, right? The shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. They gave Wilson a straight line, and it was a blown assignment and a mental error. Simple rule, protect inside out, not outside in, which caused the block.
Are you dropping geometry on us in week 1, the first series of the year?
Yeah, wait till I go calculus and physics on you.
Please
yeah.
don't.
Oh, yeah, it's coming. Don't worry about it.
All right, here's Kirk Cousins and the Vikings taking over at the 21-yard line, and this is a guy they're counting on big things from. That is Dalvin Cook. And his first carry brings him inside the 10. It'll be 1st down and goal at the 7.
Well, the biggest difference, Tom, between the Vikings offense this year at least philosophically speaking.
Offense number 82. 10-yard penalty.
Holding a Kyle Rudolph for holding, negating that run by Dalvin Cook.
And I'm going to still go to my point that they are committed to run the football. And when you have Dalvin Cook as your running back, he brings the difference maker because he has the speed. And right there, Kyle Rudolph gave the tug. Initially, it was okay. It's a good call by the officials. You can't pull the guy back into you.
That wipes out a 14-yard gain for the veteran Rudolph now in his 9th year. It seems like he's been here forever. He's their longest tenured offensive player. Everson Griffin, their longest tenured Viking, period. And now Cousins, his first throw, they put it in the hands of Cook. And he's down to the 23-yard line. Of course, Kirk Cousins came over as a free agent, left the Redskins a year ago, put up big numbers. But at the end of the day, as he said on Friday and said again this morning, the bottom line is we did not win. We didn't go 13-3. We didn't go to the playoffs. So everybody, including me, has to be better than a year ago.
Yeah, and I think offensively with the philosophical change of becoming more of a play-action team, a la the San Francisco 49ers and Kyle Shanahan, who Kirk worked under in Washington, that's the type of offense where last year they were straight dropbacks. It was insane how much they dropped back.
Second down and 12, good protection. And there is Thielen. He is into the end zone. A touchdown right from the get-go for Adam Thielen.
Well, what's been susceptible for the Falcons defense is their secondary and pass coverage. They're going after the second-year pro. All Thielen's working one-on-one. You have to be able to play man in the NFL to succeed. Thielen does a good job of avoiding the hold, got away with a little bit of push-off. They're right there. They're allowing contact. Thielen wins one-on-one, and we know when he catches the ball, he's close to the end zone. Adam Thielen usually finds the end zone.
Well, that was a big decision for the Falcons. They let Robert Alford leave, so today is Isaiah Oliver's first NFL start. And beaten right from the get-go. But he's not alone. It started by trying to punt the ball on 4th down. Protection breaks down. Minnesota starts inside the 25. Touchdown, Vikings. Welcome back to football. Happy to be with you for the opening weekend of this 2019 season. And Adam Thielen standing there waiting on him. It's good when you're his teammate.
It's good to see Everson Griffin back, and you know they addressed some of the issues that he had, and he's doing well, and he can be such a bonus for that Vikings pass rush when healthy.
This is Kenyon Barner. They brought him in during the offseason, and he only brings it out to the 15-yard line. Great coverage by Minnesota, led by Kentrell Brothers. Well, bolstered the offensive line. That was a game plan with a couple of #1 picks for Atlanta. A new contract, as Shannon made note, for Julio Jones. Devontae Freeman missed so much time last year, only played in 2 games, one of the league's very best. And can you compete, Mr. Spielman, in a very good NFC South?
Yeah, absolutely. I think they can compete. It's really difficult when you're starting 2 offensive linemen on the right side, but Devontae Freeman's the key to this whole thing.
Freeman gets it on 1st down. And that's a gain of close to 4. Let's take a look at the lineup for these Atlanta Falcons. And there are weapons all over the place. I mean, they were 6 overall in offense a year ago, piling up the yards in the passing game. Carpenter, the starter at left guard. They go with the rookie McGarry at right tackle.
Yeah, and not listed there is Calvin Ridley, of course, who had a fine rookie year last year. An excellent trio of receivers to cover with Sanu, Jones, and Ridley are in the ball game.
And a
very
really good tight end.
Yep. Austin Hoop.
Second down and back-to-back runs for Freeman. And he picks up a couple of yards. It'll bring up 3rd down and 4. Minnesota among the very best. They return 9 of 11 starters from a year ago. Steffen takes over for Sheldon Richardson, who went to Cleveland. And then Anthony Harris, who really emerged as a starter last year, takes over officially for Sendejo.
Yeah, he finally got his chance to become a starter, and he earned his way by being a starter because all he does when he gets his opportunity, Harris makes plays.
Griffin jumped too early? If so, that would be an automatic first down.
He gets about 1 or 2 of those a game.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense number 97. 5-yard penalty. Results in a first down.
Griffin, a 3-time Pro Bowl player, has the 7th most sacks in Vikings history, but last year dealt with some mental issues, some mental health issues. He missed 5 games, and he was just named and voted by his teammates as one of the team captains.
Yeah, I'm glad he's doing well. We talk about what a great player he is. He gets about 2 of those a game, and that's not smart football. He's too talented to try to guess jump counts, especially at home when you have the noise help you get off faster than the offensive lineman.
And that one is lofted in the air, and you just said it. When Anthony Harris has a chance to make plays, he makes plays.
You know, the beautiful thing about Anthony Harris, he's a college free agent. You come in, when you're a college free agent, they look to replace you. He does not allow them to replace him because all he does is make plays. He's not fast, he's not huge, but he's instinctive. And right there, they're trying to force feed Julio Jones. Well, Mike Zimmer's got an idea that they're going to force feed Julio Jones. So what we're going to do is put 2 guys on him. Xavier Rhodes had outside leverage, stay on his outside, knowing that Anthony Harris was a hole player, which means middle player and middle help.
Well, the ball was moving around a little bit, and they're making sure upstairs anytime you had a change of possession to make sure that was an interception after all for Harris. They're still looking at it.
So right there, he's fighting Julio with strong hands, Harris with strong hands.
And they have confirmed that it is an interception. What a terrible start for the Falcons. You have a block punt, they turn around and get a touchdown, and now you turn it over on an interception. First down at the Atlanta 41 for Cousins and the Vikings.
More deep. More deep.
Excellent coverage. I know you love Deion Jones. He's one of your favorite players in the league.
Well, having him back, I think he's a top 4 linebacker. Dan Quinn talks about being more physical. Well, that guy brings physicality to this defense, he along with Keanu Neal. But when healthy, there's nobody better that's equally as talented as Deion Jones in both the run and the pass. He's that good. He's the best linebacker nobody's heard of outside of Atlanta. Besides me. I love the guy.
Ready? Put it in the hands of Dalvin Cook. This guy is a bruising, electrifying runner. And man, he just leveled Deion Jones there.
So every guy has contained, meaning nothing gets to the sideline. Tack McKinley, number 98, is going to lose contain by Josh Klein. This is a mental error. He takes a poor angle. Josh Klein does not get a devastating block. But the number 1 rule about playing defense, do your job before you do somebody else's job. And a job of the defensive end, and that defense forced the ball back into 10 other guys coming from the inside.
It's a 21-yard pickup for Cook. So, you know, you look at the first play of the game that wiped out a 14-yard carry. And Cook is off and running, and drilled from behind is Cousins by Keanu Neal.
They didn't call that an incomplete. The referee marked the ball down, or marked it as a fumble through the beanbag.
Forward, out of bounds. Second down.
See, Keanu Neal right there comes untouched, and why he was untouched, because he had what you call a little bit of a delayed blitz, so the offensive lineman vacated the gap, allowing Keanu Neal to hit a free hole, thinking that he wasn't going to come.
Well, I'm really surprised they called that a fumble after looking at it again. I know Dean Blandino is back in Los Angeles, and he'll be with us throughout the rest of the day. You know, fumbles, unfortunately, are nothing new for Kirk Cousins. He has 40 of them going back to when he became a starter in Washington. And I think this is being challenged by Mike Zimmer, because it looked like Cousins actually had that arm moving forward even after he took the hit.
Yeah, that to me is the
Minnesota's challenging the ruling on the pass as a fumble.
So a challenge made by Zimmer and the Vikings. We'll step out and be back in a moment. They've changed the ruling on the field. Initially called a fumble, and after further review, an incompleted pass, that arm moving forward. And Dean Blandino, you weren't surprised by that at all?
No, that is the correct ruling. Hand coming forward with control constitutes a forward pass.
We're checking in with Dean here momentarily, back from our studios in Los Angeles. 7-0 Minnesota. 8:28 to go. A second down and 10. And this is the third big carry of the game, and this one in the end zone for Dalvin Cook. My, oh my.
So you can see how excited Mike Zimmer, bringing in Gary Kubiak. You get this guy back, he's such a difference maker. And by the way, if you want to catch a touchdown pass, why don't you throw an assist with the block right there by Adam Thielen to spring Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook's a difference maker for this team. They're a different team because he's one of those rare guys that can take it the distance every time he touches the ball.
Well, a couple of takeaways. You get a block punt, which leads ultimately to a touchdown. Now you get an interception, which leads to a touchdown. New long snapper, new holder, and Bailey, the kicker, with a point after. It started with Harris taking it away, and Cook off to a fast start.
Dan Quinn right there saying, Jeff Ulbrich, linebacker coach, get them together, tell them what they're doing wrong. Here's what they're doing wrong. They're not playing their gaps. If you have outside responsibility as a defender, your job is to put the ball inside. Dalvin Cook, 2 carries for 40 yards, 20-yard average. Do your job, and things will work in our favor.
Now we're back to the back of the end zone. Atlanta gets it for the third time at the 25-yard line. The dawn of a new era. WWE Friday Night SmackDown coming to Fox. That's right up your alley, Spiels.
Roman Reigns. Get it going, Roman. Gamer. He's the gamer. Doctor.
Friday night starting October the 4th. Only on Fox.
I'm on it.
I know you are. I tell you, that guy right there is on it. Committed.
Yeah, committed right there. You got it. Matt Ryan needs to get committed. So does this offense.
They pitch it to Devontae Freeman. Tries to cut it back to the inside and picks up maybe 2. We check in for the first time today with our good friend Carissa Thompson. Hi there.
I'll see you guys at the WWE SmackDown. Redskins, Eagles, Case Keenum finds 35-year-old Vernon Davis for this 48-yard score. How about him? High step in. Redskins up 7-0, by the way. Vernon, 14th season in the NFL. Tom?
Remind the Eagles, Carissa, that it's tackle football today, not flag. Preseason's over.
Ryan lays it off, and up to the 30-yard line is Justin Hardy. Right there in coverage, a middle linebacker. What an excellent player Eric Kendricks is.
We talk about Deion Jones, and Eric Kendricks does everything well also. And I look at him, and one of the things that I counted on, and I know Eric counts on this, although he's physically a better player than I was, his instincts are as good as there is from that position in the league. A lot like Luke Kuechly as far as his instincts go.
Third down and 5. And did another Viking jump too early?
Yep.
Mataafa, number 51.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense over 51. 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
Well, that's the second time the Falcons pick up a first down.
Here's the thing. Mike Zimmer, part of their third down package is this. They're going to bring in 4 defensive ends. Okay, by definition, that are smaller guys to get more speed on the field. Mataafa is really excited because it's his game action, right? And Matt Ryan recognizing that, being smart, goes a hard count on him. Good call by Matt.
First set of downs now for the Falcons. Trailing 14-0. Play action here. And Ryan just having to throw it away under heavy pressure, and down he goes. And again, it was Anthony Barr who picked up a sack earlier in the game.
There was not a receiver on that side of the field. So I don't know, with Julio Jones not being involved or in practicing much, But that was clearly a mistake on somebody's part because Matt Ryan had nobody to throw the ball to. In fact, that could have been ruled intentional grounding because Everett Griff's kept him inside the pocket.
Of course, Jones coming back from a serious foot injury. And many wonder would he play today, not only with his contract situation, but healthy enough to get out there and play. Great coverage by Trey Waynes. Reception again made by Hardy. It brings up another third down.
Xavier Rhodes, as he wants to be called now, gets all the press, but Waynes right here does a good job of understanding his responsibility in man coverage, never taking his eyes off the receiver.
Opponents against this Minnesota defense last year converted on just 30% on third down. Best in the NFL. And here they come. Catch made by Jones. He wasn't touched until it crossed the 45, which will be good enough for a first down.
So these guys have been successful for a lot of years. Watch Matt Ryan. He understands where Julio Jones is going to be under pressure. He's able to deliver the football. Please catch it, Julio. I got news for you, Matt. If it's in U.S. Bank Stadium, it's in Julio Jones' catch radius. Good job with Julio understanding where he was to reach for the sticks to get the first down.
Much needed first down. They get one on a penalty, and now the conversion on third down. And pitch it to Freeman, and just no running room to the near side. So you just look up and down, Chris, this Minnesota defense and the group that they have put together. I mean, there's Pro Bowlers on every single level of the defense. Arguably the best strong safety in the league in Harrison Smith. I think it's safe to say it's the best defensive line in the NFL when you have Griffin back again, along with Daniil Hunter and Joseph, etc. Mighty good.
Well, and Shamar Stephen is a guy that has played really well and consistent, which allowed them, as you mentioned earlier, to allow Sheldon Richardson to go to the Cleveland Browns. The three technique. There's Shamar.
Crossing is Hardy, and that's a big gain. He's inside the 35 and down to the 32-yard line. Atlanta on the move for the first time today, a 23-yard gain.
Zambrello right here is in for the rookie, McGarry. Now watch, he's got tough duty here on Daniil Hunter. Daniil Hunter tries to get that corner, does not. Matt Ryan, obviously, being the crafty veteran that he is, anytime he steps up into the pocket, his eyes always stay downfield for an open receiver.
And limping off the field is Xavier Rhodes. He was limping around the other day at practice, so the rookie Chris Boyd has taken over for him.
Yeah, go after Boyd.
The double reverse, and they put it into the hands of Gage. They used to use him a lot in similar situations during his collegiate days at LSU. It did not fool the Minnesota defense or Daniil Hunter.
Yeah, well, I get the call, and it probably came in before Boyd came in. But if I'm Dirk Cutter, I go after the new meat out there on the corner in Chris Boyd. Find where he is, Matt Ryan identify him, and run some type of route right to him.
And you mentioned Dirk Cutter. He is back in his second go-round as offensive coordinator for the Falcons. Was here in 2012, 13, and 14. And there's that matchup.
There they go, right?
Yep, right to Jones. But defended nicely by Minnesota. Flag comes in from the secondary.
Good call by Dirk Cutter right there. As you mentioned, Tom, too. Number 3, I believe the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were in offense, and Dirk Cutter took over play calling.
During the run.
In fact, the game
illegal block in the back. Offense number 63. 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
Rookie making his first NFL start at a Boston College today. One of those 2 number 1 picks, Chris Lindstrom.
Really good player, big, good run blocker. Like all rookies, has to get used to the speed of the NFL pass rush. Watch Lindstrom, right there he is. Number 63, getting Kendricks right in the back.
The penalty will back him up to the 41. Second down and 19. protection this time. Now it begins to break down. And falling down was a defender, and overshooting Julio Jones was Matt Ryan.
Well, you won't see that very often. When Matt Ryan has that type of time in his vision downfield, Mackenzie Alexander is going to lose his balance. And this is a free six. They put Mackenzie Alexander on Julio Jones. Nice little double move and adjustment by Julio. You see the strength of Julio? And by Alexander just cutting him off, threw off the timing of the long route just enough.
So now 3rd down and 19. And Gage makes a reception, and he's out of bounds. It was a high throw, and Harrison Smith delivered the hit.
Well, actually, this is a missed opportunity by Matt Ryan. You see Smith with the hit. He wouldn't come down inbounds anyway, but they're exploiting Chris Boyd. Chris Boyd jumped Austin Hooper underneath, leaving that cushion. They'll come back to that because that was just a missed pass by Matt Ryan.
That was quite a catch by Gage, even though he didn't come down in bounds. His second-year receiver out of LSU. That one nearly blocked again. And again, it was Wilson that was right there. The fair catch made by Beebe inside the 10. So Cousins and the Vikings off to a big-time start here in the opening quarter of Week 1. Yes, the legendary Bud Grant. We stopped in to see him the other day, coach of the Vikings for 18 years. Led Minnesota to 4 Super Bowl appearances during his tenure. And his 158 regular season wins, the most in Vikings history, and he still looks great, doesn't he?
Yeah, I asked him, he's fired up for the season. He goes, what do you mean, hunting season? I said, yeah, and football, yeah. But hunting season, he's ready to go. Dialed in. Big series for the Falcons defense to help their offense with field position.
Dalvin Cook off to a very fast start. They put it in his hands, and he's met, or this time they bring in Alexander Madison, I beg your pardon. And he gets his first NFL carry up to the 11-yard line. Let's go to Shannon Spink down on the field.
Well, Tom and Chris, you saw Dan Quinn and linebacker coach Jeff Ulbrich get all of these guys together, the entire unit. Quinn came back over and told all of them that we have to reset. You know, when we talked to Quinn this week, he said he was most looking forward to seeing how the chemistry of this unit developed this season, especially with some of those key guys out last year injured. So certainly trying to shake off this slow start.
Diggs, his first catch of this 2019 season. What a duo they are. Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen, each with over 100 catches, each for better than 1,000 yards a season ago. Dalvin Cook checks back into the game on this 3rd down and a yard. Well, we started talking about the changes that Mike Zimmer made in his offensive staff. You may remember last year he had John DeFilippo was his offensive coordinator. And then he was cut loose with roughly a month left to go in the season as Cook is bottled up at the line of scrimmage. Very, very close to a first down depending on where they spot it. And it looks like they do. So, Chris, you know, you go in and you bring in one of the great offensive minds in the history of the NFL, Gary Kubiak there in the middle. And he is the assistant head coach. He's an advisor of the offense. They bring in his longtime offensive line coach and Bill Dennison. And, of course, you have now Kevin Stefanski, who is officially the offensive coordinator.
So we talked to Kevin Stefanski about the mechanics, right? And out of series, there's a lot of voices. In series, there's one voice, and that's Kevin Stefanski's voice. He's calling all the plays and calling all the shots.
And this is Madison, the rookie out of Boise State. A 3rd-round pick after an incredible collegiate career.
Well, here's the thing in the NFL, Tom. In this day and age, you need 2 running backs. Long are the gone are the days of a running back getting 25, 26, 27 carries a game. So Rick Spielman, the general manager of the Vikings, really liked this kid and got a lot of work in college at Boise State. And they also have a kid from the University of Cincinnati, that Mike Boone, that they like a lot.
That will be the final play of the opening quarter. 14-0 Minnesota. Fox NFL Sunday continues after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. U.S. Bank Stadium, what a beautiful, beautiful building this is. Of course, they had the Super Bowl here already, Chris, and boy, I'm not so sure there's a better place to come in the NFL.
Yeah, we talk about home field advantages, right? You think about Kansas City, Green Bay, a lot of them, but this one, the excitement, and especially kicking off the 100th season, high expectation for the Vikings, high expectations for the fans.
58th season of NFL play for these Vikings, and so many heartbreaks in the postseason through the years. Set up a screen to the tight end out of Cincinnati's Elder High School, Kyle Rudolph, and I mean flags like laundry coming down onto the field. There must be 3 or 4 of them out there.
They're going to get Riley Reef for pushing it back, which actually was the block that sprung Kyle Rudolph.
Here in the run. Illegal block in the back. Offense number 71. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Here's Riley right here, and just keep your eye. This is a well set up play. Rudolph is going to chip. Aggressive pass rush by Vic Beasley. And they set up the screen, and Reef comes back. And Deion Jones, again, one of his best assets is his speed and instincts to get to the football. Even though he didn't make the tackle, he caused the penalty by position on Riley Reef.
Well, Chris, we were starting to talk about Rick Dennison coming in with Gary Kubiak and Kevin Stefanski, and Mike Zimmer makes no bones about it. We asked him point blank the other day, what was the problem on offense last year, and he said balance, among other things. And it's no great secret. He let it be known to anybody who would listen that he wanted to run the ball. And there's Grady Jarrett, the very heart and soul of this Atlanta Falcons defense.
Well, one thing Grady is quick off the ball. Elfline's going to try to cut him off, but Grady's going to come right in here. And if you walk around the Vikings facility, they have billboards up, right? Bulletin boards, important keys to the game. Every team has them. And this is the first time where I saw an inside interior defensive lineman's name in bold highlights. We need to control Grady Jarrett to control the game. That one, that's a plus for Grady Jarrett. Big plus.
And Minnesota had it going on and now going the wrong way, and now that insult to injury. You got the rookie center Garrett Bradbury, and then an exchange problem with his quarterback Kirk Cousins.
Let's see if we can see this up close. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Usually that's an automatic. Looks like it was off target just a tad. He almost pulled the ball to his right because he was blocking right. Number one priority, first and foremost for centers. Snap the ball first, then go. That's why they're usually the fastest offensive linemen on the league. They got to snap first, then block.
A little draw. They give it to Amir Abdullah, the former Detroit Lion. He's up to the 32-yard line. So for the first time today, the Vikings will send out their brand new punter, Britton Colquitt. Spent 6 years in Denver, won a Super Bowl there, and spent the last 3 seasons in Cleveland, Ohio.
And keep an eye on Austin Cutting, the rookie long snapper from Air Force. His first meaningful NFL punt snap. Let's see what he does.
Kenyon Barner stands all the way back inside his own 20. And Barner comes in to get it at the 17-yard line. Pretty decent return. Spins his way up to the 28-yard line. Dalvin Cook. They're expecting huge things from this former Seminole. Yes, from Northeast Ohio now to the Twin Cities, Mrs. Spielman. Mom is here with her 2 sons here today. Of course, Chris and his brother Rick, the general manager of this Vikings team. She looks great.
She's great, Mom.
She's awesome.
We did squats, cleans, and bench this morning. 5:30 a.m. She got up to 20-pound dumbbells, no problem.
She was telling me she's over there all the time working out. And I said, well, what do you like to do? Most of the time you're expecting, I like to walk. I used to get those free weights. Up to the 42-yard line. The catch made by Mohamed Sanu.
Keith Smith just came in. to the Falcons, and he does a great job of picking up Anthony Barr, allowing time for Matt Ryan to survey the field. And when you want to get something going, go to Mr. Consistent, Mohamed Sanu.
Sanu's been a really good player in this league for a long time, his 8th year. And now good protection for Ryan, and he'll carve you up. That's the first reception made by the second-year receiver out of Alabama, Calvin Ridley, a 20-yard gain.
So Dirk Cutter's doing a little bit of a change-up right here. On first downs, he's throwing the football. When you're successful throwing the football, it's going to able to help you run the ball later on in the game on first downs. This loosens the Vikings defense up, all set up with play action.
By the way, Xavier Rhodes is back in the game. Play fake it to Freeman, rolling the other way is Ryan, surveying the field. There's nothing there, but nobody came to get it.
Now that's the. I'm going to lose it on this because.
All down, Victor.
All right, yeah, you're right.
Group of light.
Yeah, group of light. See, smart quarterbacks will do this. They'll take advantage of this. Jim Harbaugh did this to me in Chicago, and I got a 15-yarder. Right? He acts like he's going to go out of bounds. The defense is trained nowadays to pull up. Well, Matt Ryan knows that. He tucks it and gets another 5 yards. You know, next time, take the 15. Take the 15.
And deliver the hit.
Deliver the hit and take the 15. I'm serious. If they're going to do that, take the 15. Good play by Matt.
Set up a screen to Freeman. And he spins back to the inside, and he's inside the 20. There's a penalty flag down. You know, but back to that play, I mean, it almost seems unfair to the defense.
It is.
Offside. Defense number 55. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
It's Anthony Barr.
That's the third offside. And look, I'm not a proponent of dirty play. You know me well.
No, I know that.
But if it's kind of unwritten rules, you do baseball a lot, you have a bunch of unwritten rules. But if a quarterback's going to break the unwritten rules, then as a defender, I have the right to break the unwritten rule. If he's going to fake go out of bounds and go upfield, next time, take the 15.
After the penalty, first down and 5, and the ball is loose. And it looks like Minnesota's come away with a football. Waiting officially.
If you play for Mike Zimmer, you got to be a physical corner. To some people, that's an oxymoron. To the Minnesota Vikings, physical corners are part of this defense, and you're good tacklers. Trey Waynes comes up and makes a great tackle. Devontae Freeman fights, I believe, to make the recovery after he lost it.
I mean, right down at the bottom of that pile was Anthony Harris as well, and the Vikings are saying it's our ball, and the Falcons are saying, no, it's our ball, and you be the judge.
It is. Trey Waynes.
Minnesota ball.
Now there's a scrum and a fight. A lot of things X-rated go down inside that pile, Tom. And that's a fight to the finish and a fight for survival. I think Anthony Harris got it.
Yep. And so Harris now, I mean, Waynes made the hit and jarred it loose, but Harris now with an interception and a fumble recovery. And you brought up earlier, you're a college free agent. You know, they're always looking to get somebody to take your gig. Harris says no way.
Oh, exactly. And all he does is make plays. He's got an interception, fumble recovery. Smart.
Ball belongs to Minnesota with a 14-0 lead when we return. Well, the ball put on the ground after the big hit by Trey Waynes, recovered by Minnesota. You know, a lot going on at that point that they have to look at on a change of possession. Not only figuring out who has the football, but a number of other things. Going to check in with Dean Blandino, the former head of NFL officials. And Dean, just for the folks at home, I mean, when you're looking at a play like that, talk about all the different things that are going on besides just the fumble itself, whether it is a fumble or not.
Yeah, well, clearly you have to look at the fumble first,
Yep.
and it was a fumble, and then the ball goes into a pile, and you've got to determine who comes up with the football. Now, at the end of that skirmish, Devontae Freeman actually had the football, but it looked like Anthony Harris from Minnesota jumped on it first. So that is reviewable, but if you don't have clear evidence of who actually recovered the ball, then you have to let that part of the call stand.
So it's been my experience, Tom, when I was doing this, and Dean, that a lot of times I remember recovering a fumble, the officials would come in and start screaming the declaration of who had the ball. I let the ball go because I'm on the bottom of a pile. I can't breathe. Then somebody on the other team would get the ball, jump up and down. I got the ball, I got the ball. No, you didn't. They sometimes declare it even though the guy doesn't come up with the ball, correct?
That's exactly right, and that's why you have to see the recovery, because, like you said, and I'm sure you were very nice at the bottom.
Yes, I was.
Chris, I know that.
Yes.
But you may have the football, hear the official, let it go, and then somebody else steals it.
Good stuff with Dean Blandino. We'll be checking in with him throughout the afternoon. Third down, they set up the pass to BB, his first reception, and he has a first down up to the 32-yard line. Yes, you know that name, BB. His father, Don, played in 6 Super Bowls.
They marked him short, Tom. They marked him short.
Well, they're going to, I think, measure this to be sure.
Yeah. And I think it's a good spot. I think they actually have the spot correct right here. And when BB falls down, he kind of falls sideways instead of forward. As a ball carrier, you want to be constantly falling forward.
We got it.
Yeah. You see the line right here, and BB, he's there for one reason, because of his acceleration and burst and quickness. Good blocking downfield. Garrett Bradbury, the number, that's correct. Good spot. Garrett Bradbury, one of the things we asked Kevin Stefanski, offensive coordinator, who's the best athlete on your offense? Out of his mouth, I guess it's relatively speaking, Garrett Bradbury. Because I got to tell you, I'd probably go with Thielen or Diggs. My first initial instinct. Nothing against you, Garrett. Great player for an offensive lineman.
Well, he was the Remington Award winner as college football's best center a season ago at NC State. Hit as he throws and incomplete, and a flag comes down in the secondary. McKinley delivered a big hit on Cousins, but are they going to get Oliver for defensive pass interference?
I think they are. And I watched Garrett Bradbury. He got lucky right there in his matchup with Grady Jarrett.
Pass interference. Defense number 26. Spot foul. Automatic first down.
Let's look at the interference first, and it's a tough matchup for Oliver. Young corner, long arms, tall guy. Thielen is such a fast and crafty guy, and Oliver has his good position right here, and just that little bit of grab right there. Now watch Bradbury and Garrett do battle. This is tough duty. He's on his edge. So Grady Jarrett plays with great leverage. He's a 6 foot and under nose guard. Those guys always play with great leverage, and Bradbury did not win the pad level battle, and if Grady Jarrett didn't trip, he's getting a sack.
Now, we talked to Grady Jarrett about his frame and how many great defensive tackles there are around football now, built a lot like he is. Cousins gets rid of it and just throws it away. Under pressure by Vic Beasley Jr. Shannon Spink.
Yeah, Tom, Garrett Bradbury, that rookie center, every player that I spoke with said he does not act like and he does not play like a rookie. One of the guys who's helped prepare him for this moment is defensive tackle Linval Joseph. He says when they go against each other in practice, Joseph will actually tell Bradbury what he did wrong and how he would try to expose that in a game. Not bad having a 6'4", 329 teacher across that line.
He's one of the very, very best and has been for a long time. Hard to believe the Giants let him walk out the door.
He's big, man.
He has been a great player in this league. They hand it to Dalvin Cook. And it's interesting, we brought up earlier what the goal was offensively, the identity of this Minnesota team and what their head coach wants them to be. So far, 121 total yards, only 47 passing, 74 running.
Yeah, and you think balance is what everybody says. And, we can say that they weren't balanced last year. The one other thing he wants to improve on was time of possession. But you see Kevin Stefanski, balance is key, and you have to be disciplined to stay balanced. They want to keep running the ball even if they don't have success, because it sets up the passing game in which they want to do.
They're throwing it here on third down, and Cousins again under heavy pressure, and another flag comes in from the secondary.
When you see all these calls in the secondary, you know what that is? It's a lack of confidence. It's a lack of belief in your training and your techniques. And so what happens, you start interfering or you start holding on.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense number 59. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And injured on the play is Tack McKinley. Let's check in back in Los Angeles with Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Tom. Upset alert. Redskins already up 10-0 on Philly when former Vikings QB Case Keenum goes up top to someone you'll like. Terry McLaurin, of course, out of OSU, Ohio State University, for the 70-yard score. Redskin leading this one 17-0. Tom, Chris, and Shannon.
How about that, Chris Spielman, former Buckeye?
Anybody that knows Terry McLaurin or followed his college career wasn't good enough to get on the field for Ohio State at their receiver position as a starter. He's starting for the Washington Redskins, and two people that aren't surprised, Urban Meyer and myself, because I know how good he is and how fast he is.
Of course, they're waiting for the day down the road, and not today, when his former quarterback from a year ago, Dwayne Haskins, will be spinning him out there.
Just how good is Case Keenum now? I mean, just everywhere he goes.
Everywhere he goes.
He produces. He does. He produced for this team all the way to the NFC Championship game.
Sure did.
Falcons need something good. Need a turnover, big play.
Been a half thoroughly dominated by Minnesota. And this is Dalvin Cook inside the 40, down to the 39-yard line. That'll be a gain of close to 8 for Cook.
So this ties the hands of a defensive coordinator. When you have an offense that's running the ball, passing the ball, it ties your hands to what you can do, and it also slows down a pass rush. When you take away the run, that unleashes your pass rushers. You can't pass rush on every single down in your pass rush mentality because that opens up running holes. So they're playing hesitant up front in that front four.
Boy, the whole playbook available here. When you pick up 6 on first down, where they spot it, now 2nd and 4, and they're going to stay with a run to Cook. And he's inside the 30 to 25 and steps out of bounds inside the 20. What a start today. Healthy again is Dalvin Cook.
So this is a zone read scheme. That means any hole from center to tight end is available for Dalvin Cook. Nice and patient. And the thing he does best, and Devontae Freeman also does this, they are one cut, then north and south with great acceleration. Prime example.
8 carries, 74 yards, and a touchdown after that 22-yard gain. Tell you he's playing really well is Josh Klein. They just brought him in to right guard, and he is having a big day so far.
Well, this offensive line has played well so far this first half, and that was a big question mark last year.
Look out of the game, and they bring in Madison, and he's inside the 10. His bid to get his first NFL touchdown comes up about a half a yard short. Gain of 17.
See, running inside, running outside. What the Vikings offensive line doing is taking the line of scrimmage from here and moving it. So before Madison is touched, he gets inside on the cut, got a hat on a hat all the way downfield. Elflein with a good block, and a saving touchdown tackle by Ricardo Allen. Dan Quinn talked about being more physical this year. Right now, the Falcons are getting punched in the mouth, and they're not throwing any punches back. They will the second half. They'll get them going.
Now, you know they're going to give the ball to Cook, right? After Madison just gets you down to the 1-yard line.
Madison, yeah. Maybe C.J. Ham will get it.
We'll be back right after this message. Well, we talk so frequently about red zone offense, and some people say, that's overdoing it and getting side numbers. You know, Chris, you talked about it in the meeting last night. A lot of teams can move it from the 30 to the 30, but then what do you do?
Yeah, you got to be able to finish, especially on the road, and red zone touchdown percentage is something that I look at a lot when I get ready for a game.
They hand it to Dalvin Cook. Did he get to the end zone? Waiting. And apparently just about inches short of the goal line.
This is called a power play. A power play is when you pull the backside guard and you have a fullback, so you have 2 lead blockers, and the knee was down right there short of the goal line. Let's sneak it. Just sneak it from here.
Minnesota, you've got 21, 19-yard touchdown, 22-yard run out of Cook. Madison a couple of big runs, and there it is indeed. Cousins over the top for the rushing touchdown. And the Minnesota Vikings in the first half have rushed for over 120 yards. They averaged 90 a game last year.
Yeah, well, I don't think even Mike Zimmer, Gary Kubiak, anybody anticipated this kind of start for this Viking offense.
Now, what do you call this dance, Chris? You're quite the dancer.
I have no idea. I call that SmackDown is coming to Fox. That's what I call that. You see, that's what he's really excited about.
Here's a point after by longtime Cowboy Dan Bailey. And obviously starting too soon there was Russell Gage. Or is it on the offense? That was the initial signal given by Bill Vinovich.
Neutral zone infraction.
Nope. You know, you look back, and again, we brought it up right from the get-go. A season ago.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense number 83. The 5-yard penalty being forced on the kickoff. Still the try.
In a non-strike season, the 357 rushing attempts by Minnesota, the fewest in franchise history. And Mike Zimmer did not like it a little bit. Felt like they were too reliant on their $80 million quarterback, and they're not committing to running the ball. In fairness, Cook has hurt a lot. But he's healthy. His offensive line has been made over yet again. And what a start in week 1. What a start for the Minnesota Vikings. Dalvin Cook, you may remember 2 years ago as a rookie, in the first 4 games of the year, he set the all-time NFL rookie record for rushing yards. And then we were there, Chris, when he tore his ACL, missed the rest of the year.
Against the Detroit Lions on the 45-yard line, going toward the Vikings sideline. I think Dalvin Cook has made it known that you look at Dalvin, and I think he really feels like himself. The old Dalvin Cook, remember, he was hampered by a hamstring. But first thing Dalvin can do is, one, thank the Atlanta Falcons for losing contain and making mental errors on defense, and 2, thank his offensive line, because he's getting 3 and 4 yards down the field before any white jersey is touching him.
All right, let's shift gears to the other side very quickly. You're Dan Quinn. You're getting it handed to you so far, but a long way to go. What are you thinking right now with 4:40 and a half?
Well, I have explosive plays. I have to make something happen, get points on the board, preferably a touchdown, but at least come away with 3.
I started running this time to Ito Smith. He had an outstanding rookie year, did Smith. A year ago, they had Freeman hurt a lot. Tevin Coleman became the primary back. Of course, he's no longer here. And Smith rushed for over 300 yards and caught nearly 30 balls out of the backfield.
Yeah, it's great vision right there. Xavier Rhodes, the defense is designed to block it or force the ball to an on-block player. Xavier Rhodes got nosy inside. Ito Smith put a little juke and is off and running. Xavier, excuse me.
17-yard gain on first down, and this one into the hands of Julio Jones. And he's run out of bounds. Another first down, a gain of 10, and here's Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Tom. So the Eagles are trailing 17-0, but guess what? Welcome back to Philadelphia, Deshaun Jackson. Carson Wentz finds him for this 51-yard score. The Eagles trailing by 10. Tom, Chris, and Shannon.
Deshaun Jackson, still a player.
Yeah, he can go deep. And I like what Atlanta's doing. Get the ball to guys in space and trust your athletes to make plays. Short pass to Julio Jones, takes what would have been a 5-yard gain and gets a first down.
Wentz coming. They get it away again to Ito Smith. He slips a couple of tackles, and he has close to first down yardage. Maybe a half a yard short, steps out of bounds in the Minnesota 40. Smith's giving him a little shot in the arm here.
So, and Dirk Cutter's doing a good job of neutralizing the pass rush by going to quick passing game. Little 5-yard routes that lets Matt Ryan get the ball out of his hands.
Cutter, of course, relieved of his duties as head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the end of last year. And swooped right back up again by Atlanta. And here's Smith. And that's good enough for a first down to the 37-yard line. Falcons trying to hurry it up a little bit, although they're making multiple substitutions, so that will delay the snap of the football here. Freeman in the slot at the top of your screen, empty backfield on a first down.
Well, they're facing zone because you have Rhodes outside, not on Jones.
That's a dangerous throw there. Force that one in there. You had Kendricks all over Julio Jones.
So Matt Ryan is going to get a pre-snap read. When Xavier Rhodes is not on Julio Jones and he's outside, what happens is that's going to tell him it's cover 2. So he knows that he can have a matchup. See, Xavier Rhodes here, Julio Jones here, that's zone. So Matt has a really good pre-snap read, so he should know where to attack that zone coverage. Just by alignment of a defense in a secondary.
We talked about Xavier Rhodes has given Julio Jones fits, unlike really any other quarterback in the league. And now Ryan gets rid of it. First time we've called the name Austin Hooper today. This young fella in 3 years has gone from 19 catches to 47 catches to 71, which earned him a trip to the Pro Bowl a year ago.
Yeah, he's smart. He understands where to sit routes down in zones. He runs really well, but his instincts and intelligence help him improve as a player year in and year out. You know who's doing a pretty good job? First-round pick, Caleb McGarry. Watch it when we come back. He'll line up against Danielle Hunter. Take a look.
I wondered if Rhodes was going to follow around today Julio Jones. He is not, but he has been with him on 9 plays and 2 receptions for 15 yards when Rhodes has covered him, which he is now.
That's a matchup to watch right there, McGarry against Danielle Hunter.
Third down and a big one for Atlanta, and they convert. Or very close to it on the reception by Mohamed Sanu, but there is a holding penalty. It's going to bring it back.
Well, they've had a couple.
Holding. Offense number 77. 10-yard penalty. Retrieve third down.
It's James Carpenter who beat out Jamon Brown for that left guard spot.
Yeah, that's Hercules. Causing a hole with a quick little swim move.
And the injured Minnesota Viking is their standout nickelback, Mackenzie Alexander. You know, Chris, it's always so funny, and you and I have been talking the entire week and our entire Fox crew getting ready for week 1. And look, when the season starts, regardless, football, baseball, basketball, doesn't matter. Everybody has high hopes. You wipe the slate clean. But for these two teams, Minnesota was in the NFC Championship game 2 years ago. The Falcons, of course, not far removed from a trip to the Super Bowl. But both of them really faltered down the stretch last year.
Well, and you look at the Falcons, I mean, they struggled, right? You lose Deion Jones, Ricardo Allen, Keanu Neal. That's the middle of your defense. Dan Quinn has taken over the defensive duties. They're young. They're young on the offensive line. It's going to take them a little time to gel. And remember, 1 half doesn't make a season.
Right.
You know, you have great players on the Falcons. You have Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Mohamed Sanu, Ridley when he's healthy, Devontae Freeman, who unfortunately, because of the score, has been taken out of the game as a running back.
The third down and forever, and dropped is Ryan, and there's Danielle Hunter.
So he's, you know, we talk about McGarry's supposed to get help. Well, when the help doesn't help, this is what happens. Hooper's supposed to help McGarry on Danielle Hunter. Now what happens is because both their eyes are looking inside because of noise, Danielle Hunter's so quick off the ball, the target eyesight of the tight end and the tackle should be on Danielle Hunter. The noise forces them to look at the ball, which makes them get off the ball slow, which has allowed speed to get to the edge and make the sack.
Well, I tell you what, when God designed a defensive end, he designed Danielle Hunter.
Yeah, bam.
Here's Carissa Thompson.
Big Tom's the Ravens up 28-3 in Miami. Lamar Jackson buys time, finds rookie wide receiver Miles Boykin for this 5-yard score. Lamar is 10 for 11 with 210 yards and 4 touchdowns, you guys, in the first half. Ravens rolling 35-3.
Boy, Lamar slinging it. Boy, he's tough.
And my son Luke is on another planet right now. That was his quarterback in fantasy today.
Good pick, Luke.
Yeah, really good pick. Maybe he'll win his dad some money. So here's the punt by Bosher and a fair catch by Beebe inside the 10-yard line. So many affected by Hurricane Dorian. They need your help, need our help. To support those impacted, text Dorian, D-O-R-I-A-N, to 90999. And if you're able to pledge $10 or more to the American Red Cross Hurricane Dorian relief, the images we have seen from the Bahamas take your breath away.
You know, our citizens in our country are the most generous in the world, and we usually as Americans respond to situations like that, and I have no doubt we will respond again. Matt Ryan looking at the photos trying to figure it out.
Well, they had a good drive going before that penalty, and then it backed them up. Then you get the sack, and now all of a sudden the Vikings appear to be content. We'll see. The Vikings have all three. What do they have? One timeout remaining.
Atlanta takes one there.
Yep. Atlanta thinking maybe try to get the football back.
I think they have to. Everything they do has to become aggressive. The other thing in the second half, if they're down 3 scores, the defense has to become more aggressive, which, you know, hopefully get a turnover. But what that does is make you more vulnerable on the back end and susceptible to big plays by the Vikings.
Well, look, in all fairness, I mean, you had a punt block, short field for Minnesota, they go in. You get an interception, short field for Minnesota, the Vikings go in. So this defense has not been ravaged necessarily in this game, but 21-0 is 21-0.
Well, I think giving up 120 yards on the ground,
yeah,
that's close to ravage.
Yeah, you're right. And let's see if the Falcons are going to call another timeout. They are.
Yep. I like that. I like that from Dan Quinn, giving his offense another chance. And plus, if they can get off the field here, stop the run, I anticipate the Vikings will run the football to use as much clock as they can. At least you're creating yourself with some type of field position. And remember, Austin Cutting, rookie punt snapper. So there's a little bit of pressure when you're backed up down here. So that's something maybe that Dan Quinn has in his mind.
Third down, and we'll call it an even 10 after back-to-back carries by Dalvin Cook. And it'll be 3 in a row to Dalvin Cook.
Nice hit.
And so now you have 40 seconds rather, and so this will get us down to about 50 seconds before Minnesota has to punt it away. Deion Jones on the play.
Textbook, right? No rugby tackle. 1 step and wrap, 2 steps and squeak. Bring your feet and come with some bad intentions. That's beautiful, Deion. Head up, eyes up, wrap up. Well done, sir. Well done.
Well, you're always cheering on those linebackers.
Well,
some things never change.
I'm cheering on guys that tackle the right way with their head up and wrap up. That's what I'm cheering on because it's fundamentally sound, and it proves my point that when healthy, he's one of the top 4 in the league. Man, he's a striker.
All right, so Minnesota has 1 timeout left, and I believe they're going to spend it just before the play clock runs out, before they punt this ball. All right, you know, depending on what's going to happen here, Chris, in the final 49 seconds of this first half. But, you know, look, if you're Mike Zimmer, and he talked on and on and on when we met with him on Friday about wanting to see more balance in his offense, well, he's gotten plenty of that here today.
Yeah, I think he's even surprised a little bit because even there during the preseason, the games that I watched on film, they weren't moving a lot of people. But the game plan and today, what they've been able to do, and make no mistake, the Falcons are a smaller defense, but they're very fast. They've been able to change the line of scrimmage, and Dalvin Cook, besides that last series, wasn't getting touched until he gets to the second level of the defense.
All right, so now punting out of his own end zone. We talked about the new long snapper. Austin cutting the rookie out of the Air Force Academy, and this was blasted all the way back to the 32-yard line. But room now for Kenyon Barner. He's had a couple of nice returns in his first game as a Falcon, up to the 45. And coming up at halftime, how about it, Kirk Menefee?
Coming up on the Visa halftime, it may be the first Sunday, but we're going to call it opening night as Le'Veon Bell and the Jets take center stage against the Bills, and OBJ takes the spotlight in Cleveland. Get your tickets ready for the Visa halftime. It's next.
I tell you what, that has not been a very bright spotlight so far in Cleveland. Everybody and his brother believing the Browns are going to all of a sudden ascend to the very top of the AFC North. They are losing at home today to the Tennessee Titans. Blitz coming, and Ryan off his back foot gets leveled again. And it was Eric Kendricks along with Barr applying the heat.
Well, they didn't use Anthony Barr as a blitzer much last year. In college, he was a tremendous pass rusher for the UCLA Bruins in Jim Moore Jr. I always thought that, man, if they institute him as an outside rusher, his speed and acceleration off the corner is a difficult matchup for anyone to handle. That's the difference in Mike Zimmer's defense this year.
Second down and 10. Good protection this time. And that is Russell Gage to the 41-yard line, a first down. Again, Atlanta has spent all of their timeouts.
That's a throw right there by Matt Ryan. Got a guy going down.
And that was Gage who took the hit after the catch.
Boy, when you give Matt Ryan a clean pocket like this, he's going to fit it into tight windows, and that is a strike. And Gage is down. Stopping the clock.
Which requires a 10-second runoff.
There'll be a 10-second runoff here after a team without a timeouts, and you have an injury timeout on the field. So that's going to go from 17 seconds all the way down to 7 seconds. And here once more is Carissa Thompson.
Thank you so much, Tom. So Browns trailing 10-6 in their home opener. Baker Mayfield sacked the end zone for a safety. Browns down 12-6. Tom and Chris and Tom.
Awful lot of hype about your old hometown team there.
Yeah, interesting side note, Mike Vrabel, the head coach of the Titans, went to Walsh Jesuit High School about 20 miles south of Cleveland. So it's a big return for Mike. Browns will be all right. On paper, they have talent. They really do.
No question.
Can they? The key to NFL, when you take giant egos, everybody's putting the egos aside for the good of the team, then you have something special. Just go up to Boston, check it out, see what it's supposed to look like.
A lot like Antonio Brown.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, me. Bring it in. 1, 2, 3, team. No. 1, 2, 3, me.
Well, they're going to start the clock as soon as the ball is set. And this will be a pass that gets inside to Sanu to the 19, but that's the final play of this opening half. And they will stand and cheer in Minnesota in this week 1, a 21-0 lead. Vikings get the ball to begin the second half. Guys in Los Angeles are coming up on the other side of this timeout. A touchdown right from the get-go. And this is the third big carry of the game, and this one in the end zone for Dalvin Cook. My, oh my. Cousins over the top for the rushing touchdown. Now, what do you call this dance, Chris? You're quite the dancer.
I have no idea.
That was today's game flow, brought to you by Progressive, and everything that could have gone right for the Vikings did. You know, they sacked Matt Ryan a couple of times, including the first play of the game. They get 2 turnovers, they block a punt, and 21 points coming off the block punt, the interception, the fumble recovery. Alongside Chris Spielman, our entire crew, Shannon Spig, Tom Brenneman back in Minneapolis. But as you said, 2 halves to this game, and with all the firepower Atlanta has, certainly this one a long way from over.
They do. The only problem that they have is that they're going to have to throw the football to get back into this game. And Minnesota, known for one thing, is a relentless pass rush down the line. So if they can get some type of balance and create some type of field position by the Atlanta defense for the Atlanta offense, they'll have a chance. Because one thing, if I'm Minnesota, the one thing I don't want to do is get all conservative. Because then you're going to go 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, because Atlanta will sell out for the run, stop the run.
Well, Minnesota going to get the football, and they're trying to get them revved up again with a Vikings skull chant.
Big series for the Falcon defense here, Tom.
Shannon Spake had a chance to run down the coaches at halftime. We'll check in with her momentarily. I mean, Dirk Cutter and Dan Quinn got to be looking for answers. This is not what they envisioned for this very talented Falcons team, and that one through the back of the end zone. How about it, Shannon?
Hey there, Tom. So I did ask Dan Quinn about balancing, grinding it out, and some of those explosive plays. He said he wants to do both. He's very concerned about the turnovers that they had in the first half. Said those need to cut down, but you won't be surprised to tell him that he told me defensively they just have to stop the run. Now, as far as Mike Zimmer, he's interested to see how his guys handle a no-huddle offense. He thinks that's what the Atlanta Falcons are going to do in this second half to try to get things going.
All righty, Shannon, thank you very much. We'll be checking in with Shannon throughout the rest of the game. So Cousins and the Vikings from their own 25 to begin the second half. Cousins only 7 pass attempts in the first half. 5 of 7 for 47 yards and a touchdown. Because they were able to do this so effectively, and that's run the football.
So what Atlanta's doing on defense to start this is they're going to stop the run. How do you do that? You put 8 man in the box. If you take a look at it, Keanu Neal right there was lined up as a linebacker. So the Vikings don't have enough guys to block, get a hat on a hat. So what you're vulnerable to is any type of play action or any type of quick passing game. Something to keep your eye on moving forward.
And that's where Cousins told us he had his greatest success with the Washington Redskins was on the play action.
Red.
Credit to Kyle Shanahan.
And Cousins had that ball batted at the line of scrimmage. I believe that's a live ball. It is. That's not an incompleted pass. So very fortunate the Vikings there that was not recovered by Atlanta.
Yeah, I think right here, Grady Jarrett is going to beat Pat Elflein on a little bit of a rip move and knocks the ball out. Now remember, Pat Elflein was the starting center for the Vikings last year. Good job by Grady Jarrett attacking instead of going for the big hit, attacking the arm of the quarterback. Pat Elflein opened up the gate. Got to get a little more of a punch. Grady Jarrett so quick off the ball.
All right, so now a big chance for Atlanta defensively, forcing a 3rd down and 8. Can they come up with a stop? Better protection this time, and the answer is they cannot come up with a stop. That is the first down of the 39 on the reception by Thielen, his 2nd of the day, the other a touchdown.
So the NFL is all about matchups. So this is a matchup that the Vikings like. You got Thielen working on Oliver, and right now, every time Thielen's been one-on-one with Oliver, he's won that battle. They'll identify the matchup. That's why you haven't heard from Diggs, because the matchup advantage Vikings when Thielen is over Oliver.
Dalvin Cook across the 40 up to the 41-yard line. Short gain on 1st down for Cook. Florida State's all-time leading rusher. We mentioned earlier that Cook and Devontae Freeman both attended Miami Central High School and then both start collegiately for the Seminoles. There you see the rush play percentage a year ago among the very lowest in the league at 35%. Today, 73% of the time, Minnesota has run the ball. And they'll run it again with success. More on Dalvin Cook here, Shannon.
Yeah, you just mentioned how Dalvin Cook and Devontae Freeman went to the same high school. They also went to the same college, but this is the first time, Tom, that they've actually played on the same field today. Dalvin Cook told me pregame he's been waiting for this game his entire life. Freeman is a mentor of his. He says he has set the standard. He does things to go out there to make him proud. I did not see them talk pregame, but I was told by Cook that they will definitely exchange jerseys after the game.
There you see Freeman. He is 5 years, was 5 years ahead of Dalvin Cook. Cook was an 8th grader at the junior high school when Devontae Freeman was a stud senior running back in Miami's Central High. And then both great players at Florida State and both outstanding players in the NFL.
Hey, 45's the mic.
45's the mic. That's where you set your protection.
That's a big-time play right there made by a big-time player in Grady Jarrett.
Well, his quickness and explosion is off the charts. You know, he's the best nose tackle that nobody's heard of, or interior defensive lineman. We talk about Aaron Donald, right? Well, he's a mini Aaron Donald, not mini in size, just mini is for publicity. He's so quick and explosive and instinctive off the ball. And you know, short defensive linemen were taboo a few years ago. Aaron Donald makes that. Poona Ford at Seattle. Guy I played with, Jerry Ball, Geno Atkins at Cincinnati. Those guys play with great leverage and great explosion to make plays like that.
All right, so the Falcons forced the Vikings to punt it away the first drive of this second half, and now Barner able to break a couple of tackles and brings it up close to the 15-yard line. Well, it's time to get things going for Matt Ryan and the Cardinals, and the Falcons trailing 21-0. Back to football. Happy to be with you the opening weekend, the 100th anniversary of the National Football League, Week 1 in Minnesota. When you look at these possessions for the first half for Atlanta: block punt, touchdown; interception, touchdown; punt; Freeman fumble, touchdown; punt, and then halftime. So here we go in the second half, and they dump it off to Hooper, the tight end, and a nice pickup on first down of 9.
So we talk about the game as matchups, right? This is Xavier Rhodes, ex-Xavier Rhodes, against Julio Jones. Now this is the battle within the battle. When Julio Jones doesn't catch his pass on Xavier Rhodes, there's a little bit of a celebration going on with Xavier Rhodes, because Julio Jones will challenge you to play in and play out. And right now, when they go one-on-one, advantage Xavier Rhodes,
who, by the way, just left the field again. Had to limp off. Second time that's happened today on second down and less than a yard, a first down carry.
And remember, Mackenzie Alexander out for the Minnesota Vikings. You have J-Ron Curse, and so that's 2 new guys, 2 backups in for the Vikings defense. You see the numbers right there in Julio versus Xavier. But let's see if the Falcons and Matt Ryan can exploit the substitutions that the Vikings have with Curse and Boyd.
Catch made again by the tight end Cooper, wrapped up by the Pro Bowler Harrison Smith. Oh, what a player he is. First round in 2012, grew up in Knoxville, Tennessee, and here are those possessions. The last one ending the half, just running out of time. But my, oh my, it has not been pretty for an offense where so much is expected, led by a premier quarterback in Matt Ryan. Rhodes, by the way, back in the game. Ito Smith gave the shot in the arm that final drive before the sack at the end of the first half. He's a good-looking player, Ito Smith.
Yeah, he's a nice changeup for them, good out of the backfield. The thing about smaller running backs, I used to love to play against big running backs. Why? Because you can see them. But when you got a guy like Ito Smith of his size, as a linebacker, they're hard to pick up, and sometimes they sneak through there with your eyes.
He's done a nice job since coming into this game, limited albeit. Devontae Freeman bottom of your screen. He's locked down there with Xavier Rhodes. Play clock down to 4. Ryan trying to hurry him up. And it looked like a Minnesota Viking jumped too soon. That may have been Stephen.
So
that would be the third offsides penalty against Minnesota that gave Atlanta first down in this game.
Mike Zimmer talked about
Neutral zone infraction. Defense number 93. 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
being smart football players. You're killing yourself, right? You have them where you want them. There's confusion for the Atlanta Falcons, and you give them a first down. That's not smart football. Stephen's a smart player, just didn't make a very smart play. And look at that. See, that's the passion. That's exactly what he's saying. We're smarter than that.
Well, he was livid about their penalties a year ago, and they had 10 of them in their first preseason game. Not much running room this time for Freeman.
Mike Zimmer's a guy, we asked him what it's like to be a head coach and to call a defense. It's very difficult, he said. Dan Quinn is doing that for the first time since 2016. It's an adjustment, and you really have to have a lot of trust in your offensive staff and your eyes in the sky as far as clock management.
Ryan gets rid of it, and wide open is Hooper, and he has a first down. So they continue this first drive in the second half inside the 45-yard line.
Yeah, well, this is, first of all, it starts with Ito Smith. He's going to come out here. But Ito Smith, this play will not be successful if Ito Smith does not pick up J-Ron Kearse. Beautiful job by Ito Smith, and an easy pitch and catch, and a good blitz read and adjustment by Austin Hooper and Matt Ryan to run away from the coverage.
Ryan 15 of 21, 159 yards, an interception. And that's Mohamed Sanu inside the 40 to the 38-yard line.
So the Vikings right now on first down are playing a little bit soft. They're protecting their 21-point lead. They're playing a lot of zone defense. Now, the reason being is one of their best man cover guys and their slot cover guys is Mackenzie Alexander. He's out. J-Ron Kearse is an excellent blitzer and a good zone player, but he's not the man guy that Alexander is. So that dictates what defense Mike Zimmer will run.
Second down and 6, and give it to Smith. And he's met right out in the line of scrimmage by Jaleel Johnson, third-year backer out of Iowa. Going 48 yards in nearly 5 minutes. They're having to work for every single yard on this drive.
There's communication right here between the two rookies.
Ryan gets rid of it, and another first down. This one to the 30-yard line, finding Ridley. Matt Ryan now 5 of 5 on his first drive to begin the second half.
Yeah, and it's easy pickings right now because they're not attacking downfield. He's taking what the defense has given him. And when you have a guy like Matt Ryan that can get a pre-snap read on zone, he'll find the open guy.
And down goes Ryan.
Watch a spin move. Spin move. Now, it's dangerous because if you lose contain against a mobile quarterback, he'll make you pay. But Matt Ryan's not a mobile quarterback. He's going to set him upfield. A little spin cycle. Right there. Nice job of coming in and finishing. You got to be careful if you're Everson Griffin. Now, he understands his scouting report that Matt Ryan's not going to beat him outside, so he can afford to take that gamble of jumping inside.
I am stunned a fellow like you knows that term, spin cycle.
I don't know what it means, but I heard the term.
Catch made by Sanu. Tries to cut it back to the inside. That's a really nice tackle made by Eric Kendricks.
See, they're going after J-Ron Kearse, right? And it's in zone. J-Ron Kearse was coming up to make a tackle. Mohamed Sanu is so dangerous with rack, run after catch.
All right, so another critical third down, 12th play of this drive. Atlanta trying to get on the board for the first time, and they're thinking touchdown, not a field goal here, trailing 21-0. Ryan steps up, wide open, and thrown behind the intended receiver. No penalty flag
Yeah,
down.
one came late, Tom.
Oh, he did? Okay. Yeah, on the far side of the field, though, and in the back of the end zone as well. Ridley had slipped behind the defender.
He's working on Trey Waynes, who initially has a good bump.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Illegal uses hands. Hands in the face. Defense number 26. That penalty is declined. Pass interference. Defense number 26. Spot foul.
Yeah,
Automatic
I don't
first
see
down.
the pass interference. I really don't. Because I thought he was in perfect position, and all game long these guys have been allowed to have a little bit of contact. Now show me where the pass interference is. There's the hands to the face. That's the right call. I am looking for a defensive pass interference, which I do not see. Do you see one?
Unless there's contact there with the right arm.
Yep. And so if he's challenging, remember it has to be clear and obvious. The problem with the clear and obvious, what's clear and obvious to you is not clear and obvious to me.
Yeah, it was amazing when the NFL made that decision. Of course, it all goes back, Dean Blandino, to the NFC Championship game last year, and Sean Payton making the big deal about, and rightfully so, the call that wasn't made. But for viewers now that are watching football this year,
Minnesota is challenging the ruling on the field of defensive pass interference.
we're going to catch up with Dean Blandino. We're going to get to break quick because I want you to hear what he has to say about this new rule in the NFL. Could be a big one before the year's over. Dean Blandino, you think this call will stand? The challenge by Mike Zimmer.
I do. Based on what we've seen throughout the preseason, it's going to have to be blatantly obvious that there was no contact in order for them to pick up the flag. There is some contact. Do I think it's the biggest call we've ever seen? No. But again, clear and obvious that it isn't pass interference. I just think this is a call that's going to stand.
And it does indeed stand. But Dean, you know, that's a quote-unquote slippery slope, I think was your description of it when it initially was announced by the Rules Committee about being able to challenge offensive and defensive pass interference. Denied the end zone on first down is Ito Smith. What do you think about all this? Good or bad for the league?
You know, I'm in a let's wait and see mode because it's such a subjective call. And it's not an objective fact, the ball touching the ground or the foot touching the sideline. This is, is there enough contact to prevent the receiver from making a play? That's subjective, and we're going to be debating these calls all year. So if we can get a couple of the big misses right, I think it's good. But I'd hate to see us nitpick a bunch of calls every game.
Ryan just having to throw it out of the back of the end zone. Oh my, and he didn't get it there. It's intercepted by Anthony Harris, who has 2 interceptions and a fumble recovery. And Matt Ryan would love to have that one back. Goodness gracious. Yet another Falcons turnover.
We see the frustration of Matt Ryan knowing to get back in this game you need points, and there's the helmet slant. I think he's 50% mad at himself and 50% mad at Luke Stocker, the intended receiver. We're going to show you after break. First of all, he knows he can't make that throw, but I think he's counting on Luke Stocker not to quit on the route, and I think Stocker quit on the route. And remember, when you throw the corner of the end zone, you're throwing that back pylon. It's the receiver's job to get to the back pylon. That's where the quarterback's throwing the ball.
So yet another takeaway, and Minnesota with a 21-0 lead, 3 minutes to play in the third quarter. First down, they put it in the hands of Thielen, and he picks up 9 on first down.
Now here's what I'm talking about. It's a nice little play action right here. Stocker's going to come out here late. You're going to have Hooper come here into the flat. Now he's got to get to that back corner. Harris is in perfect position, does not let him get to the back corner. I think Ryan is thinking he's going to get to the back corner, but Stocker stops his route, and Matt Ryan's hoping he's going to be where he's supposed to be. He doesn't get there, and I think Matt's mad at the throw, obviously, But I tell you, if you put him on under the lights, Tom, tell the truth, you got to get to that. You got to get to that route. I'm counting on you.
Dalvin Cook on a second down and a yard. He's very, very close to a first down. 7 interceptions all of last year for Matt Ryan.
And their offense was, even though you didn't have Freeman, you look at the Falcons' offense last year, they were pretty darn good. Total offense, they ended up 5th in the league. That's not bad.
Nope. And they were number 1 on third down.
Yeah.
Which they have not been good in that category today outside of that most recent drive till the very, very end. On third down and a yard, Cousins will keep it and get the first down. I got to tell you, though, you sit there and you look at Luke Stocker, who's been a good player in this league for a long, long time, for a number of different teams. But, if I'm a Falcons fan, I'm saying to myself, wait a minute. I got Julio Jones, I got Calvin Ridley, I got Austin Hooper, I got Devontae Freeman, and inside the 5-yard line, I'm throwing the ball to Luke Stocker.
I think it's, overthinking it just a tad, right? Get it, let your stars. And, I think Julio Jones not going full practice all the time had a little effect on the timing of the routes between Ryan and Jones.
Stephon Diggs, boy, did he adjust to that ball in the air, makes a reception, and a penalty flag comes in late.
Well, there's a little subtlety that I want to show you, and it's called receivers controlling coverage with change of speed. You're going to watch this little change of speed by Stephon Diggs to set up the defensive back. This is a veteran move, a subtle move, but a potent move by a receiver.
Flag came in at the tail end of that play.
Personal foul. Defense number 37. Lowered his helmet to initiate contact. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
So a 31-yard gain and tack on 15.
Here's Stephon Diggs up here at the top. He's going to come all the way across the field. Now, I want to show you, watch the change of speed. Right here, he's going to settle his route down a little bit. Settle, then burst. He had a little bit of change of speed right there to pull away from Devondre Campbell, the linebacker. He's taken out of bounds, and I think that's Ricardo Allen's playing football. I get it. That's the rules. You've got to adjust. He's got to adjust. He had an Achilles last
How would you have adjusted?
Head up, eyes up, hit with my face mask instead of my head.
Yeah, but how would you have felt about it?
I want to make a living. I want to make money. I want to play.
And there comes another flag. I mean, Cook was smoked by Neal once he was already out of bounds. I mean, for Neal to be arguing this call is a complete waste of time.
Well, he's a physical football player and a great football player, but you got to make plays, and sometimes when you get frustrated like this, these things can happen. Keanu Neal.
Personal foul.
Will come in late right here, number 22.
Initiate contact.
So after seeing that one again, I'm not so sure about that.
Yeah, let's see where his head is. See, he lowered his helmet and initiated contact. Now, Keanu Neal was fined $28,075 when he hit Jordan Reed. Ricardo Allen and Neal did not play last year, so they're still getting used to this in a full live game, right? They've got to adjust their style of play, both of them. It's not a coincidence, in my opinion, that both safeties got hit with lowering of the target when they missed a bunch of games last year.
Well, you may remember it was week 1, the torn ACL against Philadelphia for Neal, and it was just a couple of weeks later, the torn Achilles by Ricardo Allen. Timeout called by Atlanta before the snap of the ball.
First charge timeout. Atlanta.
34 seconds remain in the third. And Minnesota trying to add to a 21-point lead. Spectacular U.S. Bank Stadium. Shaped in the form of a Viking ship when you come driving past this thing in downtown Minneapolis. Pretty sweet. And it's been all Vikings here today. 21-0. Dalvin Cook into the end zone. Another touchdown for Cook. His second rushing touchdown of the game, and that'll put him over 100 yards rushing in the game.
Riley Reed's getting to the second level. We talked about it something right there. When he's getting to this level without being touched, that's a problem in the scheme-wise for the Falcons. Now, the Falcons had a miscommunication out here. Two guys went to cover a pass, which created a trucking lane for Dalvin Cook to go unabated into the end zone.
And the rookie tight end delivered a good block there. Irv Smith Jr., they're expecting big things out of him. 28-0, 21 points off 3 Atlanta turnovers. We're back after this message from Geico. Well, it looks like Matt Shaw beginning to get warmed up over on the Atlanta sideline. It's been that kind of day for Matt Ryan.
And Matt Ryan's last play is going to be where he's trying to make the play. I really believe he thinks Luke Stalker's going to be at that back pylon. That's where that route has to be run. Matt Ryan's not throwing to a man. He's thrown to a spot. His man wasn't at the spot. Vikings man was at the spot. Interception.
6 plays, 80 yards, only took 2 minutes and 39 seconds. Minnesota has run the ball today for 150 yards. We have a 4th quarter left to go. Warner up across the 20 to the 22. And let's check in back in Los Angeles with Kurt Menefee. Hi, Kurt.
Hello there, Tom. Baker Mayfield. Touchdown pass to David Njoku. 3 yards. They need that. They've been down all day. In fact, got booed at halftime by the fans. You can see the party is ready to get started, it looks like, in Cleveland. 15-13, a good game with the Titans.
You got to love Cleveland fans.
Oh, I was getting ready to say, are you kidding?
No, I love
booing the Brownies.
I love it. They want a product. There's expectations. Either live to them or don't.
There's not a better football town in America than Cleveland, Ohio. Those fans have been so starved for so long. Incomplete pass on first down with an eye on Ridley. Excellent coverage. Getting more playing time today is Jaron Kearse.
Former 7th round pick out of Clemson. Tried him at linebacker, moved him back to safety. Now he's what they call a big nickel. We're starting to see this in the NFL. The nickel defense is so prominent with 75% of the plays coming from nickel on defense. They have 2 guys, Little Nick and Big Nick. He's Big Nick. Little Nick's over there nursing an elbow injury on the sidelines of Mackenzie Alexander.
Rolling, and now stops, pumps, and just a sidearm flip. And out of bounds is Devontae Freeman. What has happened to this Atlanta offense today? I mean, outside of the obvious, they've obviously turned the ball over, but why no rhythm? Why no production?
Okay, so you have a new coordinator, Dirk Cutter, correct? I don't think they're in sync. You have 2 rookie offensive linemen not in sync. You have Julio Jones getting his first action. Not been a factor this ball game. You're playing against a pretty good defense with a relentless pass rush. You combine all those things together, defense not in sync, offense not in sync, result 28-0 going into the 4th quarter. That's what's happening.
Ryan throws and incomplete, in and out of the hands of Julio Jones. Kendrick's a linebacker there to knock it away. 3 and out.
Well, that's a rarity. See Julio drop one? I mean, that's such a rarity right there, and he's going to get better. He's happy now. He's got his 22 million or 66, whatever it is.
That's
millions.
a big difference, 22 and 66.
Yeah, a little bit, but just a tad. But he'll make that catch every other time.
You can have a 22. I'll take the 66.
All right.
Chad Beebe.
An upgrade in Terrace Park. The mean streets of Terrace Park, right next to the mean streets of Miramar. Topper.
Fair catch by Beebe on the final play of the 3rd quarter. Fox NFL Sunday continues after these messages and a word from your local Fox station.
Slow down, Poppy.
Well, that kind of day for the man on the left. Turned it over 3 times. 28 points off a couple of interceptions. The block punt, also a fumble recovery. Been a really rough day. 3 turnovers in a game for Atlanta.
Well, Dan Quinn always preaches, right? The brotherhood. That's what they call themselves, the brotherhood. We're going to find out about the brotherhood on how they play this fourth quarter.
Alexander Madison, the rookie out of Boise State, going to get a little playing time to begin the fourth. You know, you look at the Vikings, and Mike Zimmer now in his 6th year. He's gone 47-31-1 since he became the head coach. They have the best record among all teams in the NFC. He's won a couple of NFC North titles. Went to the NFC Championship game, losing to Philadelphia 2 years ago. They've had 2 crushing playoff losses. Both of those because they couldn't kick a field goal.
There you go. Nice job keeping it played. Tack McKinley.
Tack McKinley.
Well, he learned, right? Just force the ball inside to let the guy do your job. That's a good job. Go ahead. See Tack McKinley. Remember in the first quarter, Tom, he's got snuck inside there and the ball bounced out. The ball doesn't bounce out right there. That was a poor read by Madison. But you're right. I mean, the kicking continues to be an issue. Now, Dan Bailey, who was brought in last year, seems to have stabilized that situation.
Third down, they hand it off to Amir Abdullah. And the Vikings will punt it away, and we will punt it away to Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles.
Remember that Baker touchdown? Well, Tennessee answered. Very first play from scrimmage after the score. Marcus Mariota hooking up with Derrick Henry for a 75-yard score. He's in better shape and showing a little speed there. Not quite 90 plus, but it's good enough for a 22-13 lead. Tom, Chris?
Well, I think that would be one of the shockers of the weekend, just based on hype, if nothing else.
Yeah, and that's a really good observation by Kurt Menefee. Just 2 years ago, Derrick Henry would have been caught from behind and not been able to go 75 yards.
All the way back to the 15-yard line. And Barner's had a nice day today. He's done a really good job. They brought him in to return kicks and punts, and he's about all that's going right. Because it is all Vikings today. Saturday, get it started with noon. Big noon Saturday. The Ohio State University Buckeyes taking on Indiana. Then a Pac-12 Big Ten showdown. Arizona State against Michigan State. And then number 5, Oklahoma, headed to the Rose Bowl to battle UCLA. Well, it's been a rough year in 2 games for Chip Kelly.
Sure has. San Diego State got him yesterday.
After they lost their season opener to the Cincinnati Bearcats. First down throw, caught by Hooper, and he's chopped down by Harrison Smith at the 48-yard line. So you saw Schaub getting ready a couple of series ago, but Ryan's still in there, 19 of 29, 2 interceptions, 191 yards. Falcons have not been shut out since week 14 of the 2015 season against Carolina. They've not been shut out in a season opener since 1974 against the Dallas Cowboys. Straight receptions by the tight end Hooper.
So the Vikings are content by allowing the Falcons to throw everything underneath, make sure nothing over the top. Now when they get down to about the 22-yard line, they're going to pick up an extra defender. The rear back line of the end zone becomes the 12th man on defense, and that's when they'll get a little bit more aggressive with their coverage.
Ito Smith spins out of one tackle and has enough for a first down at the 25-yard line. Ran through the arms of Eric Kendricks. Smith to the sideline along with Justin Harding. Devontae Freeman back in there. 10:40 to go. Excellent coverage, excellent tackle made by an excellent defender in Barr.
Now Barr turned down a chance to go to the Jets, re-signed with the Vikings for less money. He's really, his biggest strength is versatility. He's a pass rusher. He's an excellent cover guy, and he's gotten better over the years as a run-down defender. Really a talented guy. It's important for that defense to keep him.
He's one of their defensive team captains. A catch made by Freeman to the 20. Barr along with Everson Griffin and Linval Joseph. Harrison Smith took himself out of the mix. He feels like there are other guys that are deserving to be a team captain.
Well, there may be other guys that may be more deserving, but one thing about Harrison Smith, he's a leader because he produces. And the only way you can lead in an NFL locker room if you're a producer. You can't be a big mouth, loud mouth, talk about everything. You better produce on the field, then you earn the right to open your mouth.
Third down at 5. And it's batted away by Xavier Rhodes. And if you're wondering why we're pronouncing his name that way, that's because he has asked those in the media to call him that from now on instead of Xavier Rhodes.
Yeah. So Xavier does get a good break, and this is the long arms of corners. We see corners with long arms. He's able to reach in there and have the discipline not to run through the guy's back to knock the ball away. Big fourth down. You got Xavier matched up against Julio at the bottom of your screen, if you're interested.
Wow. And a throw to the end zone, and it is a touchdown for Calvin Ridley. He had 10 of them as a rookie a season ago, and he slipped behind Trey Waynes for the touchdown. Beautiful throw by Ryan.
Well, this is just an adjustment, and a great adjustment by Ridley. Waynes was all over him, but that's what I talked about. You know the interception where Matt Ryan threw it to a spot? Matt Ryan's not thrown to a man, he's thrown to a spot, throwing him open to let your guy go make the play. Great concentration by Calvin Ridley, who does know how to catch touchdowns.
Well, he does. You know, he had 6 of them in a 3.5-week time frame, the first month plus of the season last year. 4 of his 10 touchdowns came in 2 games against the Saints. So now they're going to go for 2. And again, back shoulder throw. Look at Rhodes. Boy, is that a good play. Atlanta finally on the board. Ryan to Ridley. They play 66 yards. Calvin Ridley, the touchdown reception. First points of the afternoon for Atlanta. And the Falcons more than likely going to try the onside kicker. At least that's what Minnesota's expecting. They have Kyle Rudolph and Adam Thielen among others. Standing 10 yards off the football. Matt Bosher will put a foot on it. And he kicks it away. Beebe coming up to get it. And he will cross the 25. Well, to commemorate the 100th season of the NFL, here's a look back at one of the greatest moments from this matchup.
Right as I was getting ready to tackle him, bam, you know what I'm saying, he makes the move.
Breaks the tackle, and he is gone! Ball game!
It was a huge collision between me and Beak. I think that's what gets lost in it.
Still running in the clubhouse.
I was like, damn, man, that boy bad.
Vick running for 173 yards that day, which is still the record, by the way, in an NFL game, a regular season game, by a quarterback. And we're going to check in with Michael Vick and see what he remembers about that play. He's standing by in Los Angeles. Michael, you got to like seeing that again, right? Why not?
Oh, I love it. The more I see it, the better it looks.
Yeah. What do you remember about this play? Do you remember plays like this?
You know what? I mean, ironically, I don't, but it's constantly being shown. So, yeah, I can relive it mentally a little bit, but I just remember running into that locker room and just being relieved that we won the game.
Maybe you can't.
Being relieved, just being thankful that they played that man coverage, the coverage that, we thought they was going to play in overtime, and that's what led to the run.
Maybe you can't remember, Michael, because you made so many great runs as an NFL player. People forget, yeah, you're known as a runner, but how great passer you were. So you're the true dual threat when it became running, passing quarterbacks. I think you were. Steve Young was pretty good that I played against, but nothing like you.
Yeah, Steve was really good. I patterned my game after Steve, and everything I did, I tried to do to mimic the things that I seen him do, and just wanted to do it a little bit better, even though I wasn't as fortunate in the passing game, but I was able to make some plays on the ground and still compile some wins in my career.
Hey, Michael, are you surprised by the way this game has been played here today with Minnesota dominating your old team?
Yeah, I'm a little surprised, but we know in any game of football, you turn it over, then it always leads to more drastic things. So it happened early. The Minnesota Vikings got off to a fast start, and that was just hard to recover. So I guess now you just finish stronger and look forward to next week.
Michael, from your experience now, 2 new rookie offensive linemen, right? A new offensive coordinator. We know what preseason is nowadays. Take a guess on how long it will take for this offense to gel. Now, defense didn't help themselves either, but how long will it take the offense to gel under Dirk Cutter?
I would say at least 2 quarters of the season, maybe 8 games.
Yeah, really.
Those guys, they really didn't have a lot of time to play together in preseason. You're not hitting in 2-a-days and in training camp, and so you don't get that live action. But I think the more they play together, the more they gel, spend time together watching film, I think they'll get better. And they have to in order for Matt Ryan to stay upright and win some football games. So this will definitely be an opportunity to go back and look at this film and teach off of it.
Hey, one quick question. How much hitting did you do in training camp? You're not hitting in training camp. How much hitting did you do in training camp?
Listen, I always had the yellow jersey on.
No, but you know what, Michael, I would like to know.
Green, put it on me. Don't touch me.
But you know what, I would like to know this, and we've seen a trend here in the last couple of years where quarterbacks, some around the league, are not playing at all during the preseason. We saw that with Aaron Rodgers and Mitch Trubisky. They both looked very rusty in the season opening game Thursday night. Do you believe a quarterback needs to get some snaps in preseason games to be ready?
I don't think so. I think week 1 is always tough. It's always tough for any player, especially the quarterback position. But, the more you play, the more you throw it around, the more you're in live game action, the better you feel. I believe in protecting the investment and keeping the quarterbacks on the sideline.
Okay. Michael, thanks for being with us. Appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
28-6, the Vikings in front. I'll never forget the first time I really ever saw Michael Vick play was that game. I believe it was he played in the Sugar Bowl for Virginia Tech. And I mean, there were guys chasing him all over the place. And I've never seen a guy move like that at that position.
I don't know what his 40 time was, but whatever it was, he played faster than what his time was.
How would you have fared chasing him around?
I'd have to get him before he's getting going. I know that. If he's past 5 yards, I got no shot. But you get him in the box at 5 yards, I'll win that fight all day long. All day. He's something. Looks like Dalvin Cook's day is done. Tom, 21 carries, 111 yards, about 5.5 per carry and 2 touches. Pretty solid. And you tell me that Kirk Cousins coming in this game
right out of my mouth.
Throw the ball 10 times, and the Vikings would be up 28-6
for less than 100 yards.
Unbelievable, unbelievable. By that offensive line, the big question mark of the Vikings. Offensive line was outstanding today.
They're going to keep on running it. I'll tell you, I'm really interested in watching this kid play as time goes by. Cook's obviously going to get the carries, but I think Rick Spielman and the scouting staff, that's a pretty shrewd move finding Madison. I mean, you talk about a guy that had an incredible college career at Boise State. He had the 8th most rushing yards in the history of college football. He had 3 200-yard games a year ago, and he can catch it out of the backfield.
So you think about when NFL teams draft running backs, they just don't draft maybe the running back with the most yards or with the biggest plays. They draft running backs that fit their system. This is a downhill running football team, one cut north and south, and he is a guy that they're counting on to be the perfect type of backup because he's a running back, or he's a running back like Dalvin Cook, to be that one cut north and south. That's why they drafted him, because he's the style back that they want.
I'll tell you one thing about Madison. He grew up in a strict household. His father, grandfather, serving in the U.S. Air Force and the U.S. Army, another uncle in the Army. .439 to go. And that one punted away by Colquitt. And a collision made after a fair catch was signaled for us, and that'll be a penalty against Minnesota.
Chris Boyd.
Yep.
No.
You never signal for a fair catch, but you can't run into it.
Got to give him room to catch the ball.
138 to another.
Kick catch interference. Kicking team number 38. 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Atlanta ball, first down.
All right, back to the old days. NFL on Fox. We celebrate the 100th season of the National Football League. It's been that kind of a day for Matt Ryan and the Atlanta Falcons. Frustration. 3 turnovers. They've had a blocked punt. Ryan's thrown a pair of picks through 7 all of last year. But look, you know there are better days coming for this Atlanta Falcons offense. They're just too good.
5-yard penalty, still first down.
Dan Quinn's too good of a coach. He'll get it straightened out. It's basically a new defense, a new offense. Maybe those guys not playing preseason, that debate can go on, but I know that man can coach a football team, and he's got a challenge in front of him. And for the fans of Atlanta, it's opening week. There's plenty of time. Teams get things straightened out. I remember my 1991, we got beat by Washington by 45 points, ended up playing again in the NFC Championship game. A lot of time to get it right.
And a healthy Devontae Freeman will go a long way in getting these Falcons back on track. He was really pretty much taken out of the game by the situation, the score, and the turnovers and so forth very early in this game.
And I think the contract thing, no matter if teams say it was a distraction or wasn't a distraction, it was a distraction. Julio Jones. Now, Julio didn't make it about him, but it's still a distraction because guys are talking about it. And Dan Quinn's always answering questions about it. And Thomas Dimitrov's always answering questions. Now they got that settled, they'll get it together.
You know, I want to ask you while we're on the topic, and I jokingly brought it up earlier, but, you know, the Antonio Brown saga, and now all of a sudden New England brings him in. Are you surprised the Patriots made that move?
No, I think if you look at 30 other teams that make that move, they say you're crazy. If the Patriots make that move, people say, well, he's a genius. And it's Antonio's stop, you know, because Bill Belichick, if he does anything with helmets or not showing up for practice or walking out of meetings or throwing a ball in a trash can or putting a ball into a tarmac or whatever crazy stuff he does, that doesn't go over. Remember, I talked about earlier, kill the selfish beast inside, bury your egos. If you can do that on an NFL team, you're going to win football games. How do I know? Look at Boston, in New England, in Foxborough. That's a perfect example of that.
Well, of course, this will be the second guy they've tried to get it together with Josh Gordon after leaving Cleveland. Let's check in with Carissa Thompson in L.A.
Thank you very much, Tom. So after Carolina blocked a punt, Cam Newton, Christian McCaffrey for this 2-yard score. McCaffrey's second of the day. LA still up in this one, 23-20. Tom?
Tell you what, that'd be a huge win if Carolina could pull that one off.
And a big win for the Rams starting off on the road on the East Coast against Carolina.
Third down. And the flag comes in. The intended target was Austin Hooper, and Chris Boyd will be penalized undoubtedly. You know, you take a look at these two teams' schedule to begin the
Pass
year.
interference. Defense number 38. Spot foul. Automatic first down.
You know, for the Vikings, I mean, it is going right into the fire next week. Green Bay on the road at Lambeau Field. And after a home game against Oakland, it's on the road to Chicago, the defending divisional champions. So we're going to know a whole lot about Mike Zimmer's team early on.
And how good did Green Bay's defense look the other night against Matt Nagy, Mitchell Trubisky, Tariq Cohen, Oakland Bears offense.
On the Bears, I've got to be very concerned. I know it's only one game. We'll see. They were really good, obviously, last year. It's an incomplete pass. So we mentioned the two most difficult, on paper anyway, divisional road games will take place in the first month of the season. They also have a trip to New York. So 3 of the front 5 will be on the road. Then you come home against Philadelphia. That's no easy task. And for the Atlanta Falcons, they will not play a divisional game, if you can believe this, until November the 10th. So their schedule really backloaded as far as, you know, getting together with the Saints and the Panthers and the Buccaneers. Bruce Arians now in charge there. Home opener against Philadelphia next week. Philadelphia 29-20 fourth quarter lead over Washington today.
It's interesting, you know, the NFL is so crazy. I don't know what's going on. I mean, you don't know week in and week out. These guys are the best in the world at what they do. And I don't know who's going to be good after week 1. I mean, I know who looks good. I just don't know who's going to be good.
Penalty flag comes down as Everson Griffin picks up his second sack of the game, and another flag and another flag as there's pushing and shoving going on down at the 35-yard line.
Here's the thing. The next guy that plays against Jake Matthews, you know what they're going to say? I'm running a spin move, because Everson Griffin got him on a spin move again. Just want you to take a look at a quick spin move. And this is a scouting report, right? So the next guy that plays against this guy is going to do this. He's going to get him upfield, then he's going to come underneath with a spin. That's twice in this ball game that Everson Griffin has gotten 2 sacks off of this very same pass move.
That's 4 sacks in the game now for Minnesota. 2 of them by Griffin.
They had 50 last year, I believe. So that's certainly with the blitzing type defense, or the show blitz and not blitz type defense, can create confusion for offensive lines as far as pass protection goes.
Well, I mean, the Vikings have to be elated. You know, after all his troubles last year, Griffin only had 5.5 sacks the entire year. He's being among the league's elite.
Well, we talk about Everson and what an outstanding pass rusher is. If you ever watch the whole game and the whole film and focus on him, he is an excellent run defender. Uses his hands very well, creates extension, and rarely lets offensive linemen into his body, which allows him to play the run really well.
Well, waiting for this to get all straightened out. You have so many flags that were thrown on the play.
Illegal use of hands. Hands in the face. Defense number 91. That's 5 yards from the previous spot. Automatic first down. We have a personal foul. Defense number 91. That penalty is declined because it would have been from the end of the run, 15 yards, automatic first down.
So no sack after all for Everson Griffin.
Stephen Weatherly called for the fouls, who interestingly enough filled in for Everson Griffin last year when Everson was getting healthy.
Weatherly, a Georgia native. Snellville, Georgia. Well, if somebody would have come to you before this game and they would have said Adam Thielen has 3 catches for 43 yards, Stephon Diggs has 2 catches for 37, and Kyle Rudolph doesn't have a single catch in the game, you'd say Minnesota probably is in big trouble.
Yeah, well, you know what they do have, and if you can do this, if you run the ball 36 times in the NFL for 5 yards a carry, chances are things are working out for you well.
Julio Jones down to the 25-yard line, as this will bring us up more than likely to the 2-minute warning unless Ryan can get off the snap before, which he looks like he's going to try to do. Nope. 2-minute warning. 28-6 Minnesota. 2 to go. Career low 10 pass attempts for Kirk Cousins here today. 98 yards and a touchdown. But when you run it the way they've run it, Chris mentioned a moment ago, 174 yards and nearly 5 yards per rushing attempt. Second down, Ryan. And down he goes now officially for the 4th time today into the arms of Linval Joseph. Let's check in with Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Tom. Coming up next, America's Game of the Week. This is going to be a great one. Saquon Barkley finished 2nd in the NFL in rushing yards last season behind who? That's right, this guy, Ezekiel Elliott, now the highest paid running back in the NFL. Cowboys fans happy to see him on the field. It's all coming up next.
Former Buckeye there,
yeah.
Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah, Nittany Lion, Saquon Barkley. I think I was having a conversation with Alex Olson, our AD, about the Giants this year, and I told Alex I think he's going to explode this year, even more so. He's so explosive with the football. Yeah, I wasn't a big believer until I watched him play in person. I said, oh my goodness, and started really studying him on film. Man, is he real good. He's the real deal. Zeke is really good also.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be a good battle.
It will be a good battle today, right from the get-go in the NFC East. That's Mohamed Sanu on a 3rd down reception.
When you look at that stat line, Kirk Cousins 8 of 10, 100-year anniversary. This looks like a 75-year anniversary of an NFL stat line. Quarterback 8 for 10. Rushes,
you're right.
36 yards, 36
You're
rushes.
right. And they convert on 4th down. Well, Matt Ryan has just moved into 13th all-time in the history of the NFL in career passing yards. Guess who he just passed?
Scrambling Fran.
Boy, what a player he was. Fran Tarkenton. 18 years in the NFL, 13 of those with Minnesota, a couple of go-rounds. When he retired, he had the most passing yards in league history.
The Vikings were my favorite team growing up. John Gilliam on the receiving end of both touchdowns. He was a great player, an underrated receiver, John Gilliam.
Chuck Foreman, such a great player when you and I were kids. And
Brett McClanahan.
Oh, yeah, they were good. Mohamed Sanu still going at it. Or rather, Ridley, I beg your pardon, on the reception. He's down to the 2-yard line, but a penalty flag is down on the field.
Illegal use of hands. Hands to the face. Defense number 51. Penalty decline. Result of the play. 1st down.
Yeah, that's a lot of them. And Mike Zimmer talks about being a smart football team. And hands to the face is something that a defensive lineman can control every single time. And see the frustration, because that's the thing he's been preaching all offseason. We have to be smarter than we were last year. That's an avoidable penalty.
And a throw to the end zone, and it is a touchdown for Julio Jones. It's only his 6th catch of the day for 35 yards, but now a touchdown.
Well, he's working out there on a rookie defensive back for the Minnesota Vikings. Mark Fields, who came over on a trade from Kansas City. And that's a tough matchup, and Julio uses that big body and basically boxes him out for the easy pitch and catch.
We're trying to make it a 2-score game, going for the 2-point conversion here to bring him within 14. A minute 5 to go. Go to Jones again, but he is denied the 2-point conversion on another good play. Anthony Harris has been the player of the day for Minnesota. Fumble recovery, couple of interceptions. Let's go downstairs to Shannon.
Well, Tom, if Anthony Harris is the player of the day, we want to introduce you to the fan of the day, or I guess I should say Vikings fan overall. Of course, it's Sid Davey. Vikings fans know him very well. He actually lives in Vancouver, travels 8 hours to get to these games, another 40 minutes to get suited up on the sidelines. He's been a staple for decades, since the 80s, but he really became well known around these areas for catching Randy Moss. Every time he would jump into the end zone after scoring a touchdown, he even caught Randy Moss when Moss was a Patriot in New England. Moss also had Davey come up when he was inducted into the Ring of Honor here at the Vikings Stadium. So certainly an Uber fan and one of the most popular fans around. He actually has 60 tattoos. He told me all of them are Vikings related and 30 of them are Randy Moss related. I did ask him, Chris, if he can still bench press, and he said 300 pounds. I knew that that would be a question you would want to know.
I'd ask for how many? And the other thing, too, I mean, I get the tattoos, that's commitment, but if he was truly committed, he'd have the face paint on the neck. The neck was clear.
Well, you maintained that for a long, long time. Yeah.
Oh, right there. We need to face paint the neck, then that's truly commitment. Forget the 50 tattoos. Face paint the neck and we're all good. Or neck paint the neck.
Yeah, but what about the idea that he never buys his own beer?
Yeah, that's a pretty good deal.
That's my favorite part.
Pretty good deal. Hit the ball before it went 10 yards.
It's pretty good, though, Chris. Now, what about her? She looks pretty committed.
Yeah, she is.
I mean, that's a big-time outfit.
Yeah. Well, they love their football up here, that's for sure.
Well, they sure do.
High expectations.
Never saw a Viking with a cell phone.
Wow.
Now there's a big league outfit.
I got a lot of things I could say about that, but I won't.
Let's go to Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Tom. So the Bills are down by 6 when Josh Allen will connect with John Brown for this 38-yard score. Bills erase a 16-point deficit. We're looking at 17-16 with 1:17 left to play. Tom?
Yeah, and Buffalo has the ball. I mean, there are a couple teams that are going to have a lot of questions to answer tomorrow. One of them will be the Falcons. Another will be the Cleveland Browns, who are getting hammered. 43-13 at home by Tennessee. And the other certainly will be the Jets, a team that brings in Le'Veon Bell, and they're at home, and Sam Darnold and everything, and all of a sudden a chance. Not over yet. You can't beat Buffalo in game 1.
Yeah, I got a theory on the Browns. I mean, on paper they look great, right? But the whole thing is you have a new head coach, Freddie Kitchens, and you bring all these guys together. Great players individually, but it takes a while to gel as a team. And one example of that, how many guys did the Vikings retain on defense? 9 out of 11.
9 out of 11. And the other 2 guys played a lot.
Yeah, so that's a gelling of a team. On paper, a lot of great individuals for Browns, but it's going to take time for them to come together as one unit because they haven't been through battle together. Today's the battle, and this is a good thing and a wake-up call for them. Doesn't matter what our individual stats are. What are we going to be as a team, and when are we going to come together as a team?
Well, I tell you what, Mike Zimmer has to feel very, very good. All the things he told us the other day that he wanted this team to be, they were that today.
I think, and that's something. I think the only complaint you would have is some of the silly penalties. They gave up first downs on 3 defensive penalties, offsides, and some of the silly penalties from a defensive point of view with hands in the face. Dan Quinn will get it going. Danielle Hunter. Only one game, Falcon fans. A lot of time.
Home opener against Philadelphia next week, and the Vikings in an early season big one go to Green Bay. So for Chris Spielman, Shannon Smig, Tom Brenneman, so long from Minneapolis. Time now for the State Farm game break. Here's Kurt Menefee.